Hey music fans, as a roadie I had this great opportunity to tour with all these bands. I wrote a book about my experiences on the road and it was the #1 new release on Amazon and BIOS and it's now sold millions of copies on Kindle. I'm Joel Roadie and this is my podcast, Party Like a Rock Star. Have you heard of a man by the name of Ren?
Yes, I do know Ren. Awesome.
These episodes are of my friend Ben Monteith. Ben's special to me in that when I first started my podcast a couple years ago, I was doing interviews and I was going to bring Ben on with Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters. I was going to surprise him because Ben is a street busker and one of the songs he covers is the Foo Fighters. So I thought it'd be kind of fun, right? Taylor agreed to it. We were trying to set it up, but if you guys recall when Taylor passed away, very sad time, unfortunately. They were really busy. They were doing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff. They were on tour. There was a lot going on. So we were just trying to make it all work, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. Anyway, now we're looking at a couple years later. I am bringing Ben on, and so I've chatted with him. I'm still a big fan of him. I know his music well. I think he's such a great singer. He became very popular because he did a cover of How to Save a Life by The Fray, and it was just amazing, and it blew up overnight. He had millions of views on his video while busking in the street, and I was one of those views. It came through my feed, I believe on Facebook, and so there you go. And we're going to jump into this. We're going to have to see what Ben thinks. So if you guys want to reach out to Ben, if you want to know any of his stuff, he's on everything you can think of underneath his name, Ben Monteith. So you guys can check him out and see. Also wanted to throw a shout out, a thank you to the cool people here at Still Austin for still sending me awesome booze. This is their newest release. It's a winter release. And it says it's good to be by the fire. I think it's funny here. These people who write these tasting notes, I wish they could help me with my reactions of things to say, because it says the finish on this is dark sherry and creme brulee that trail off into whispers of eucalyptus, oak spice, and black tea. I would be like the best reactor in the world if I could write stuff or say stuff like that. I'd be like, Nightwish is the best flavor on your lips. It's fantastic to the senses of the soul. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoy this video and the rest of the ones we do with my friend Ben here. Let's give this a go and we can see what Ben thinks. Okay, so this is Ren. You are familiar with Ren. You are a Ren fan, which I think is great. So,
He's a fellow busker.
yeah.
That's where you got to start. Yeah.
So you've been
Yeah,
listening to
very
him for a
cool.
while, or?
I actually just saw the High Rain video, and then I saw that blew my mind. I was like, holy crap! And I kind of fell down a rabbit hole of just I love when I find an artist I like to find out about them, their background, their what motivates them, stuff like that. And he's such an interesting guy that seems to be able to translate his pain and life's journey into music in such a
Yeah.
very unique way. So it's almost like I don't know. It's more than rap, more than music. It's like musical theater almost. But like
This is
I'm like,
great.
all
So this
right,
is
let's.
his newest release. It's Money Game Part 3. There was Money Game Part 1. There was Money Game Part 2. So let's jump into this together. You hadn't seen it yet, you said. So let's see what you think.
tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17, and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18, and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns that truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket. 35, he gets a call. I'm sorry son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack, I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed off, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion, heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck. Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41, he wasn't walking. 42, not walking quickly. 43, never running round the pavements of his city. 44, inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck the money and fame. Call the music. This isn't entertainment, this is real life. The way we live is lunacy, community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention, politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention, law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution? Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive with parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface then consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. "45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game."
Wow. Okay, being a Ren fan, what's your take on this release?
The guy's just another level, man. He is he's a groundbreaking artist, man. He's like
Yeah.
on another level. I've never seen anyone do what he does. Never. He's definitely one of a kind. And I think as well, I think when he records these, it's all live, all one shot.
That is one
And
shot. That's a steady cam.
yeah,
That's just
I don't think there's any cut-ins. Like there's no cut-ins on that. And so I mean, my goodness, man, the amount of work and effort he's put into that is and his crew as well that have worked to make that happen is awesome. I mean, you can picture the entire story. It's like watching a film and then even coming out of it and being a narrator and saying, you know, pointing out the fact that this is a pretty sad story, sad life, but it's not film, it's not a movie, it's reality. This is what
right.
people do.
Right.
Yeah, the guy is just like he blows my mind. He's on a totally other level than other artists. It's incredible. Absolutely. And he can sing, he can rap. The way he played piano, stunning. Classically trained, or even if he wasn't classically trained, he certainly plays like someone that is. Yeah, I can't praise the guy enough. He's freaking amazing. Absolutely insane.
You know, a fun question might be, because he did a lot of busking as well. I've asked a lot of the people I bring on the show, what's the craziest gig you ever had, is what I ask a lot of them. But what's the craziest thing that's happened to you while you've been busking on the street? What's the first that you would think of?
It's kind of sad because my brain always thinks the negative thing first. So some of the worst things that's happened to me, I've had someone spit on me.
Oof.
I've had people get physical with me. Probably the best thing that ever happened to me busking, that was totally wild and almost sort of relates to like a Ren style video. Maybe if he ever sees this, he can take this story and turn it into something. But I met this lady, and she came up to me and she was all shaking, and she said, "I just wanted to tell you, you saved my life." And I was like, "Huh?" I saved your life? What do you mean? And she says, she said about a year ago, she said I had a coke addiction, and she said I own my own bar, and I made lots of money, and I had a cocaine addiction that was so bad, but I kept it a secret. I was a functioning cocaine addict. It became like taking cigarettes to her. And she said, as time went on, I started having heart attacks. And I went to the hospital, had these heart attacks. And she's standing telling me this in the street in tears. And she says, I kept hiding it from my family. And I'd had 4 heart attacks by this point. And she was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't get out of this addiction. And she said one night she was totally loaded and had the most painful heart attack she's ever had. She couldn't get to the phone, and she was lying in her living room and thought to herself, "This is it. I'm going to die." And she passed out, and she woke up like 2 days later on her living room floor. And
Whoa.
she said when I woke up, I was like, and she lived in the city centre, and she's like, I just got up and I was in a daze. And she's like, I didn't even know if I was alive or if I was dead. And she's like, I thought I got to go for a walk and think about what's just happened. And she's like, I'm walking through town, and she's like, I can hear this faint sound of music. And she's like, and she's like, I'm drawn to come towards this music. And she says the whole time I'm thinking, right, I am alive, I'm awake. And she's like, I have to change. Something has to change. Why am I still here? And she said, eventually I got to you. And she says, there you were singing a song. And she's like, by the end of the song, she says, I felt this overwhelming, massive sense of peace. And she says, I just felt like I was done with that life. I'm finished with it. And
Cool.
she said, this is me a year on. She says, I'm engaged. I sold my business. I got clean. And she says, I've been living my best life. And so after that, I actually had a show coming up, and I put her on the guest list, and she came to the show with her fiance, and it was just incredible. So that's probably
Oh, that's good.
one of the best things that's ever happened to me on the street. Yeah. And
Maybe
I
not.
have a lot of stories like that, but that one's pretty wild. So
So maybe it's inconsequential, but did she say what the song was that you were singing?
it was actually a cover of Pompeii by Bastille
Oh, cool.
was the song I was singing. And she was like, yeah, she's like, I after that, she said I went when she was saying when she was getting clean, she was listening to my music through the whole thing because it just kept bringing her back to that moment of peace and clarity of where she's just, the switch went off, and she, who knows, man, who knows why people are able to make the change, or from addiction to try to lose weight or whatever it is. There's these massive obstacles in life, and
Sure.
sometimes you just something happens and the switch goes on. So yeah, it was a beautiful moment.
What's
Beautiful
funny is
moment.
actually I'd never heard of Bastille, and I only listened to it because you did it. I listened to it on the computer, and so that's why I'm familiar with the band, which is kind of what I've been doing here is introducing new music. So you actually introduced me to
Oh,
Bastille.
awesome!
So it's
Very
a
cool.
full circle story for me, and I appreciate it very much. Well, I know your time is very pressing, and we have started off a little late, unfortunately, but I
That was my fault.
absolutely that's okay. These things happen. We could do it again in the future, I hope. But
Absolutely.
of the few tracks we listened to, who would be the one that you would like to listen more of first? So it was Nightwish, The Warning, and Ren. Who would be the artist you would select?
Uh, I will definitely probably go check out The Warning for sure.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, they're cool. Um, and Ren, I'm saying that as well because Ren's already an artist that I
You already
listen to.
listened. Yeah.
So like,
I
and
think
all
this track is
the guys.
so brilliant. And they say, why would you play that track for people first? And I'm like, Why the hell not? What's wrong with any part of it? It's so
No.
good. It's a beautiful piece. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is one of
That's what I mean, man. I often wonder, I'm like, how's he going to do this stuff live? But he must do it, pull it off. I was so proud and like just blessed to see him do so well because he suffered from Lyme's disease. And my wife had Lyme's disease years ago, so I totally have this like connection there. I'm like, I feel like I understand to some degree what he's went through by watching her go through it, and to see the way he expresses himself about it is insane.
it's great.
Um, yeah, he's going to do well, and his debut album was #1 over here in the
I mean,
UK.
amazing off of YouTube. I mean, the whole world
No,
musically has changed so dramatically, and it's for the
yeah,
better, I think, for the consumers. It's wonderful. It's good.
yeah,
Cool.
cool, man.
Well, again, thank you ever so much. I look forward to talking to you more soon, and thank you.
Thank you for having me. See, man, he's such a lovely guy. Um, yeah, he's super cool.
I think so. I'm a big fan. His first one, I mean, the High Rena had me in tears, and I said I had
That
worked
kills
for.
me too.
It was amazing. You know, it
Well,
also.
for me, it's like it's that's not a track that you're gonna sit and chill and listen to. That's an experience, you know what I
I
mean?
agree.
And it is incredible. And I've probably watched that video maybe 5 or 6 times because I was so like, whoa, and took it straight to my wife and my friend. I'm like, you gotta check this guy out. He's an absolute beast, you know what I mean? And yeah, I love it. I absolutely love him. I think he's great. I wouldn't put me on the same level as him. He's in a different stratosphere, but I do understand like videos I've seen of him busking and stuff. He puts everything into it, and that's where I'd say we're the same. When I'm busking, I give it all I
Yeah,
got.
I can tell. Yeah.
You got to just go for it because people see. I feel now more than ever, people see counterfeit and fake, and they want something real and tangible and honest.
Yeah.
And music has always been my gym, my punching bag. It's where I go to let it all out. And it doesn't matter if I'm singing my own song or someone else's. It's just let it all go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I
cool.
feel akin to it's my happy place or my sad place, but it's my place. And so that's why I think all this stuff's important to me. And then Ren doing something that's different than the norm, the experience, as you said, I'm okay with that. That's fine to have an experience. I don't need to listen to the same song I've heard a million times on the radio.
No, but that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Because the guy's doing something just real, new, and raw. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's not a commercially acceptable song right off the bat. You know, no radio station's going to play that, and that's
Uh-huh.
why I love it. He's
And
having
I'm
so
with you.
much
I like that. It
success.
makes it as fun.
Yeah, I love it too, and it's completely immersive, man. Like you're between the way he videos it, and yeah, I just love it. He's ridiculous amount of talent, and he deserves every accolade. And
Yeah,
is I hope he makes millions and gets
me
a
too.
bit of
Hope
peace
he's
and
enjoying
happiness.
the ride. That's the one thing I hope he's enjoying all aspects of it because he's been through the.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
he's had a hell of a time.
yeah,
Yeah, deserves some happy days, that's for sure.
indeed. Okay, where are we at? Do we want to do more or are we done?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do another one. I'll do another one.
Hey, the podcast is over. What are you still doing here? Well, while you're here, like and subscribe. Thanks.